Hello my people on YouTube. So in today's video I'm going to be drawing y'all a goofy paintbrush, which this is what I started out with, the rough pencil sketch. So this is just obviously the rough one, and I'm going to try and make it look cooler than what it from this goofy look. So let's begin. So I'm going to begin with the eye, and I think drawing the eye is always the fun part of the characters that I make, because that really sets them apart. The pressure sensitivity of the brush gives the nice feeling of depth when you draw, meaning the thicker lines over here would be where the shadow would hit, or which would be the darker portion, and then as it comes to the outside it will get thinner. And then this cool feature in Adobe Fresco that I like is I can start a line from here, go past this line, hit the double tap, and then be able to erase this, double tap that again without having to manually erase it. So let's give this eye some textured look with the lines. Just going past the lines is a cool feature that I like, which Procreate does not have. It would be nice if it did, because then you don't have to kind of slow down the natural flow of what you're doing when you're making the lines. Leave that for now. Work on the nose. I think when I was thinking up of a playlist for these characters, it was just something random, but I wanted to keep it art related, so thinking of different things that you use in art. So this one is the those thick paintbrushes that you use to possibly apply more paint or maybe gesso to your artwork. So that's the kind of paintbrush I was going for. And the idea came from doing or looking at some pics on Pinterest, which is really helpful when you're trying to get ideas as to what to draw. There's a whole lot of stuff over there that can really get you thinking in a more creative way. So I'm gonna do this other eye now. At some point I was actually thinking of all the pieces of art that I've done up until now to possibly convert them into stickers and put them in my Redbubble and TeePublic stores. So if anybody is interested and would like a sticker, it'll be over there. I haven't done it as yet, but I should probably get down to doing it, because instead of just drawing the art and letting it stay as art. I think if I'm not mistaken, other artists that I follow, some use that technique where they use the art to make different merch. One would be stickers, and then so on and so forth. So let me keep going ahead with this, and I'll do a quick time lapse, and then I'll show y'all what it looks like after I'm done with all this line work. So here's the paintbrush with the line art, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna beef up these lines in areas where the shadow would be hitting, and so that it's not just the same line art. So for that, what I do usually is I make a new layer and start with the inside and work my way to the outside, underneath, I mean. So that'll be the thicker of the lines, since that's gonna be the underneath, and then that'll be the thinner. And then I'll walk my way around this, and I will show you what it looks like when I'm done with it. Alright, so let's start the time lapse. Alright, so this is the paintbrush after me doing the actual line work in detail. I started recording part of it, and then I was like, I don't know if you guys would kind of get bored just looking at me just drawing lines, so I kind of decided to skip forward and come to this part. But now what I'm going to show you is I'm going to be obviously coloring this, and what I've done ahead of time is, or before this, is I went ahead and selected a few colors. These 4 colors down here are going to be the handle of the brush, these shades of like a lightish grayish kind of a blue are gonna represent the steel part of the brush that holds the bristles. These two are going to be the colors of the bristles, and then obviously because this is a paintbrush, I'm going to put some blue ink on it. Oh, not blue ink, I'm sorry, blue paint. So these are going to be the colors of the paint. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start the initial shading or the flat colors, and I'm just gonna drop color with the paint bucket and go from there. That's gonna be the obviously the top, and then I'll choose that for the lower section of the brush. And I'm gonna see as it progresses if the colors look like they pop till I get till the final image, and maybe I might change it up slightly or completely, depends. And another thing what I want to do is I want to give a nice background to this so it doesn't look like the brush is just floating over there in midair. So I will start the time lapse and show how I drop the colors, and then I'll slow it down and show y'all what the shading is going to be like. So let me start the dropping of the flat colors, and then I will see y'all again in a few minutes to start the shading. Alright people, so I thought my camera was recording when I dropped these colors, but I guess it stopped halfway. So anyway, if you all wanted to know what I did, was I just used the paint bucket tool and then just dropped the colors like I showed you for this section. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to start the shading, and this part, which is the shading, has always been my challenge to get things to pop. So what I do and what I show y'all over here, I'll be learning along with y'all and trying my very best to get good at this as time progresses, because I think learning how to shade takes time. And with these digital colors, it's not a very big learning curve. It's just that I think when you put it down digitally, I mean, there are certain colors that, like now for example this one, I don't know if y'all can tell the difference between this color over here and this one over here, but what I'm trying to go for is the gradient look. I know you cannot do that with vector coloring, but that's what I'm trying to get, is the gradient look. If y'all have ever gone on Pinterest and looked up or did a search on shading, there are some artists that have really got the knack down of getting the shading to where it looks like the image kind of really pops off the screen. So that's really what I'm trying to get at, and I'm sure eventually with time, as I keep doing this, it will come about. So another thing what I do is to make the shading pop is I use the eraser and I tap it over here. I mean, like, you can't really see a whole lot of it now, but when I've done it for darker colors, it tends to give it like that nice spray pattern look. I like how that turns out. As I'm looking at my phone recording and looking at the screen, I mean, I'm always trying to see if, or at least visually look to see what you guys will be seeing in the very end. So if the colors are not showing up too well in the shading, I apologize for that, because it's hard to, I don't know, I guess you can tell a little bit of it over here, the difference, but I'm sure you'll be able to tell it once I start using these colors down here. So what I'm going for is, since this is going to be a wooden handle, I'm trying to make it look as wooden as possible, and getting the colors to blend like that. So now with what I've done is I'm trying to make it look like there's an indent in the wood, and then I'm going to use a little darker shade of the other color over here to signify that there's a dent over here. And then maybe for this part where the wooden part that goes underneath the teeth, there'll probably be like a drop shadow over here. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue shading this, and I will show you the progress at the end, what I did. And think at a later time maybe I'll just do a dedicated video just to show y'all how I color as one of my notes to do something like that. But every time I look through them, I'm always trying to debate what's going to be the next video for you guys. So anyway, I think I'm just rambling on at this point, so let me finish the shading of this, and I will see you guys at the end of it for the reveal to show y'all what I finally did. So I'll see you in a few minutes. Alrighty people, so this is the final paintbrush, and as you can see, I tried my best to give the wet look to the paint for the brush over here, which what I did was I used the different shades of blue what I showed y'all in the very beginning, and then I chose to add this light blue kind of to make it look like it has that wet look to it. And then for the actual steel part or the aluminum part, I don't know what the exact metal is that they use. I gave the look of texture by adding the color and then using the eraser to kind of create these little dots that you see. So that's that. And then finally, for the actual handle of the brush, I started with this very lightest shade of the yellowish orange, and then I worked it up into different shades of the orange color to make it look like it's got like that depth in it. So, oh yeah, and then I added these leaves, and these leaves are a native of the guava fruit, which is used to make juices and other drinks. So I always put that in most of my drawings to kind of remind me where all this whole art journey began. So with that being said, I will sign off by saying keep creating, keep drawing. I'll see you all down the road or on the other side. Bye for now.